have heard the whispers of guardians gathering in the shadows, exploring the mysteries of this world and the worlds which surround us. We are all in search of truth. Sometimes we need to focus that search, focus that fire. And so we come together. Welcome to Focused Fire Chat.
So welcome to Focus Fire Chat, recorded live on September 11th, 2021 over on twitch.tv/FocusFireChat. As always, I want to give a big shout out to our live chat here with us. Thank you so much for joining us once again. It's only taken us about 7 months to since our last time, so we really appreciate you guys showing up. This week's episodes are going to be focused around exploring the Hitman series. Actually, we are letting Orchid explain her recent foray in her crims, I think is what we called them. Her small crims that she was performing with the can of SpaghettiOs, which we'll get into. This particular episode is going to kind of be, like, as usual, our intro session, but also it's going to be a way for us to kind of just catch up and say, hey, what's been going on for the past couple of months. For those of you who are in the live stream or checking this out on YouTube, you will have seen the prior recording there. So yeah, as always, let's run through a quick introduction of who all we have with us. This is Blue Crew 86. I am still the host, thanks to Orchid. Speaking of Orchid, I don't know if she's able to talk to us right now.
Hi, I'm Orchid. Otter Mom, apparently the person of small crims. They always become larger crims, and then the biggest crims. God, hi. I missed you guys so much. The most. Hi. That's it. Hello. Person of many words.
We also are joined with Green is jumping on real quick. So she is taking a step out from behind the curtain and sharing the limelight with us.
Just a little bit. It's been a busy couple of months for everybody, just in real life stuff. Blue had a baby. Well, his wife had a baby. Blue held his wife's hand as she had a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Orchid's been committing all the crims, running DLA in the background, streaming.
Shadow dictator.
That's the best way to do it.
Yeah,
you don't get any of the blame.
It's true.
I'm just... Yeah.
Well, I mean, so yeah, actually, it has been really, really busy for, I think, all of us. As many of you know, and we kind of talked about this on the mini episode that we published earlier. I had a pipe burst in my office, and that was back in February, so it is now September, so that gives you an idea of how long that has taken to be fixed. Really fun story on the ineptitude of contractors. But that along with my wife had a baby, so we have a new little light, not quite running around yet, but definitely dictating schedules. Lots of very, very last minute schedule changes have been the case, which is why actually we are recording in the middle of the day and not Friday evening, because yeah, this was a, hey, let's do a stream or let's do an episode. And originally we were going to do this offline, and then a couple things came together, and Orchid and I were talking, and we were like, might as well try to do a live stream. For those of you who are watching the video feed, the reason why it looks different is because Blue has had to completely reinstall everything. So about in March, my computer died and it wiped itself, and it then corrupted the hard drive, and I had to reinstall everything back, pins, and I had a very, very fun 3 days, I think that was, or maybe even a week of reprogramming my operating system. And as of a result, I basically got a new computer, except it's not a new computer. It's the old computer, but it's a new operating system. But as a result, everything got wiped. So I've had to rebuild everything. And that's why your stream overlay right now is basically just us on Skype. And I'm not really sure I'm not really sure I don't have a problem. I don't have really a problem with it. It actually is really, it works. But on top of all that, then Green, I think I'm going to kind of turn the limelight back over to you, because Green has been pestering me to do something for a year now, 2 years now. And she finally kicked me over a couple copies, and I think we're going to redesign the logo. And Green has, in my opinion, knocked it out of the park. So we're gonna start kind of rolling that out with different things. I currently on the overlay right now still have the original logo. We will probably start moving that over, starting with this release. I've got to do a couple reworks on the images and stuff like that. But yeah, that's the big thing that Green has just knocked out of the park as far as I'm concerned. It was a tough gig, because I have a lot of really fond attachments to our logo, and Green really did a good job in taking that and keeping the sense of it, but actually moving it past. And that's going to tie back into kind of what Orchid and I were talking about with the last update episode, in which we're going to start kind of looking at things a little bit broader spectrum, as far as games and books and movies and TV shows and stuff like that. We're still going to be, still dealing with Destiny, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. We're going to still be doing a lot of Destiny, but it's going to be a lot more relaxed. It's not going to be as much in the weeds. You guys have, for those of you who are old hands here at the Destiny community, you know that there are plenty of amazing content creators out there who will get very far into the weeds with the Destiny stuff. Bife, Mylan, Ishtar has, I don't know if they're still doing their podcast. They do podcasts from time to time. The Lore Network has been transitioned fully over to Kaz and hit that group, and they are still doing some great stuff there. There is just tons of resources, and so we're kind of being like, I know Orchid really likes Doctor Who. We've had a lot of conversations about that. There's other games that we've played, as is the case with this entire topic. So we're gonna kind of try to follow what we really want to talk about, instead of trying to stick to just Destiny, which can get to be a pretty big grind. We've been doing it I've been doing this for 6 going on 7 years now. So yeah. That all being said, I am also working in collaboration with the Destiny Armory Defined project over with Rhino, and I will be trying to work to bring some of those into an audio format, and I'm working to get them translated into something that is a little bit more of a bite size. Not really, I don't really want to call it a podcast, but it will be a podcast. It'll be on this channel, so as you guys get those, I'm going to probably be releasing them on a weekly basis, is my thought right now. I've got to build them up, and with schedules being what they are, that's going to probably take a little while, but we are going to be using that to continue to dive into some of the lesser known corners of the Destiny universe. But yeah, that's pretty much what is on the plate right now for us. Orchid, Green, did I forget anything?
I don't think so. I think it was very thorough. This is a good list.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah. That was like you had all that written down.
Did I have that written down?
I think it feels like you did. Did you not?
I did not have that written down. So
I'm really impressed.
If I did, I don't know where I put it. So anyways.
Well, okay then.
So I guess this will give us a chance to come back to Orchid's Otter Stop.
I don't even know who the person is this time. Oh, are we just leaving reviews on iTunes?
Yeah.
Am I hawking anything?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
We will
please
be,
leave us
but
a
not
5.
yet.
Oh, okay. Then I'm just gonna say, please do us a favor and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. The correct number of stars is 5 stars. The incorrect number of stars is anything less than 5 stars. If you do, I will come for your family. I will personally find out where you live. And
in line with the subject
I will
of
leave you a
today's chat.
strongly worded note on a Post-it and attach it to your door. That's incorrect. I'm way too lazy to do that. I can't even be bothered to get my mail every day. So that is a very, very weak threat coming from me. I probably wouldn't even read the reviews that you leave, but I would really appreciate a 5-star review. Like I said, 5 stars is the correct number of stars in your review. Anything less, and I will be really sad. I'll take it very personally.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, as Pin says in chat, as long as they don't leave cans of SpaghettiOs laying around, they're probably going to be safe.
I do have a very good arm. I played softball when I was in school because my dad made me, not because it was my choice.
So, with that...
Oh, you can also find us on the lorenetwork.com alongside many impressive lore content creators. So, there you go.
Oh, man. Okay, so with that, all good paper quality as a review.
I would be able to tell you if it was good paper quality, for I work with paper. And I can tell you right now, Post-it notes do actually have good paper quality.
That is very interesting trivia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good to
also,
know. Good to know.
glossy magazine covers have a lot of hemlock in them.
Hemlock, isn't that poisonous?
Western hemlock is really good for glossy magazine covers because it's very smooth when it's made into paper. I
appreciate how she did not answer your question, Green. Isn't that poisonous? Western hemlock is really good for glossy magazines. So is it poisonous? It's really good for the pages in glossy magazines. Don't chew on them, kids. But, well, and actually talking about poison, I mean, that's a good segue into Hitman, right? I know Orchid uses a lot of subtle methods in assassinations during Hitman.
I don't know if unicorning someone with a katana is really that subtle.
That was one of the best clips is Orchid's walking around the mall and randomly stabs somebody with a sword.
That was a hospital, sir.
Freaks out because she didn't mean to kill him and then proceeds to go, just stay right there, and wanders off.
That was a hospital.
Oh my god.
That was a hospital.
That was Orchid's TikTok submission a while back.
Yeah, you can see that on my TikTok.
But so as far as Hitman goes, we are going to be focusing mostly on, I think it's World of Assassination Trilogy is the most recent 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There is actually 6 or 8 games, I think. More if you count the mini mobile games. But an interesting thing about the Hitman series is, like, even though it's been going since about 1990 or 2000,
2000 is the earliest.
It has all the games are actually building off of each other. There is one case in which there was a slight slight retcon, and it wasn't as much a retcon as it was they got access to a better graphics engine, and so they redid some of the missions that you could then they opened up the ability to choose things that previously it was a very linear game. But other than that, that was a remake on the first game. But other than that particular piece, it has been consistently clarification and building on the entire series, which is really cool when you talk about these type of games, because I mean, again, that's what 11 years of work that they have not yet had to redo anything. So it is possible. It is possible to do that. Throughout the series, there have been really predominantly 2 to 4 main protagonists that are pretty consistent. Most people will recognize the first one is Agent 47, the guy who's on the cover and who you play as. The voice that a lot of people will recognize is her name is Diana Burnwood. She is Agent 47's handler. We're gonna kind of dive into how this organization works in a bit. But then the 2 other protagonists that are really, really prevalent, especially in the World of Assassination or the World of Assassination trilogy, are an individual who goes by the name of the Shadow Client, and then Olivia Hall. These 2 people become extremely important, especially within, what was it, Hitman? Is it 3? Didn't they renumber? Yeah, they started numbering them again.
So the way the numbering kind of worked, they went with codename 47. There was no Hitman 1, didn't have a Hitman 1. It was just codename 47 because it was named after the protagonist. The first one was, and then there was Hitman 2, Silent Assassin was the next one that came out in 2002. Contracts was the third one. Blood Money was the fourth one. And then there was a big drought of games. Then they came out with Absolution. Then they came out with a bunch of like weird games after that we're not going to ever mention
Hitman
ever
Go,
again.
Hitman
They came out with
and Hitman Sniper.
They came out with some weird mobile games because they kind of doubled down on the mobile games, and then they realized no one wanted mobile games from these games.
Especially for Hitman.
Especially for Hitman. They're like, do you know what people want? They're like, they want mobile games. And everyone is like, no, we don't. We don't want mobile games from Hitman.
Very similar to what Diablo is going through.
Yeah, no. Why would we want that? I don't want a mobile game where I can throw a brick at people with my phone. No, my phone is a brick.
Well, because wasn't Hitman Go kind of like tactics?
Yeah, it was very strange because I tried playing it on my iPad, and like in 2014, iPads were not great. So.
2021 iPads are not great either. So
I was not going to throw iPads under the bus, but thank you. Okay. Yeah. The only thing I use my iPad for in 2021 is, piano music, but that's my own fault. So 2016 is when the new trilogy kind of got rebooted by IO. So that's kind of like where we're starting. Is the 2016 like kind of reboot of the franchise, but it's not even really a reboot because they continue the story, but they don't continue the story because it's like it's a continuation. It's a soft reboot. It's like the boot of
they bring back a couple of the major targets from the earlier games, but like I would say that it's a really interesting way to refresh everybody on the story because they don't contradict. Like I think it was Contracts that they redid Subject 47's story. And because that was when, because I think Subject, if I'm trying to remember off the top of my head on this one, Subject 47 was an independent studio, and then they got basically a big upgrade for Contracts. And as part of that, that's when you started getting more of that open choice playthrough type. So that was where you kind of had that. And then with the World of Assassination trilogy, which is Hitman 1, 2, and 3, that Orchid was talking about, obviously, technology has come a long way since 2000. So they redid all the graphics, and a lot of the AIs for the antagonist were redone as well. That being said, they still kept a lot of the core story points from the first few titles. Wow. And they introduced more targets within the World of Assassination trilogy that actually supported the story in a really, really, they fleshed out the story more than they rewrote it. There were a few antagonists that did kind of make their way back into it. One of them being one of the main antagonists is this professor who goes by the name Professor Ortmeyer. He is an extremely big figure within the Hitman storyline simply because he is the creator of all of the Hitman clones. Him and a few other individuals, they did some bad stuff and combined a lot of genetic material, and that's how you get Agent 47. There were multiple issues. There was Subject 6, Agent 47, and then Subjects 48, which were later. Which Subjects 48, I don't remember. Were they in the new trilogy, or were they just in the old trilogy?
They were in the. I don't.
Because I haven't
were
played
not
the
in the
trilogy.
new one.
Okay. The point of Subjects 48 were, so they view Agent 47, who is also known as Subject 47. They created Subject 47 as a kind of a chimera of all these different really big bad guys. And then basically what happened was Subject 47 grew his own will and was like, no, I'm going to do what I want. And Ortmeyer basically saw that and said, yeah, we need to fix that problem. So he created another copy of 47, but he nipped that part of it, and he created multiple copies that were easier to replicate and a lot easier to control. And they were just they were all coded Subjects 48. I guess they just got tired of going up in number. And so he just was like, here's an army of 48. And there was I think that was in, was that Blood Money?
That was Blood Money, I think.
It was either Blood Money or Absolution that you had to deal with that whole insanity. But yeah, so then that kind of led into the dry period that Orchid was talking about. And another part of this entire kind of universe, this crazy world, is the organizations that kind of control everything. The big one that we hear a lot of, especially within World of Assassination trilogy, is the International Contract Agency, which is also known as the ICA, and then Providence. Providence is the major antagonistic force for at least the first two. The final installation in the trilogy deals with some cleaning of house that Diana goes through, and that's an amazing story in and of itself as well. In the earlier series, we had a couple organizations that kind of they kind of phased out, but they were also kind of revealed to be satellites of Providence. And that would be the franchise and then Alpha Xerox. And I think Alpha Xerox was actually a subsidiary of the franchise. Yeah. Which then turned out to be Providence. It basically, they're basically all turned into be Providence. So you have these.
They made them into these nesting egg dolls of Providence.
Shell corporations.
Yeah.
You know how you move money around, right? So
nesting
it's both
egg dolls.
Well, you know those like nesting dolls, those like Russian
dolls.
nesting dolls. Yeah, Matryoshka dolls, whatever. That's what they ended up like. All these like companies that you ended up like murdering, and they just made them into.
Did end up murdering.
They're all. You murdered all these companies, and they all ended up being like the main company that you murdered. You literally murdered the companies because that's what you did. You murdered the companies.
You're like, hey, what's the organization hierarchy of this company? All right, let's start at the bottom and work our way up. And that's pretty much how that's just how it worked.
You murdered the companies.
I mean, that is not a wrong statement.
No.
That is exactly how 47 proceeded to eradicate his problems. But and I don't think Providence was really even Providence wasn't a major part until Hitman 2, right? Because wasn't Hitman 1 was that was well, you got introduced to Providence. But Providence, like, you didn't go up against the seats and what was it? The
Providence was mentioned in like the very. It was dropped on you in the very last second in the last mission.
On 1, and then on 1, 2 is spent. You're hunting the constant, and then at the very end of 2 is when you kill the constant. And then 3 is insane because you take out Providence. There's the hierarchy of Providence is you have 3 partners and a constant, and no one knows where the partners are except for the constant, which is why he has to take out the constant at the end of Hitman 2. So he takes him out, and then Hitman 3 takes place basically the first fourth or half of Hitman 3. You're killing off the constants. Which
is essentially, it's pretty, the first third, you essentially take them out all at once because they're like together. They're not all hiding in the taking vault. Them out.
No.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because they're in the bank. They're the big bank vault that they're in. And so, yeah, you take out that
was a heist. That was a fun mission.
Yes, I remember. I have actually played that mission, and it is insanely chaotic, and I loved it.
I dressed like a bunny.
You dress like a bunny?
Yeah, there's a bunny outfit. You can dress like a bunny.
One of the highlights of Hitman is that you can disguise yourself as various stuff, and they have lots of options.
There's a bunny outfit.
I have witnessed Orchid basically Texas Chainsaw masquerading by stealing everybody's clothes and like just going through a party and just like impersonating one person after the other.
So you basically, you know how Orchid was talking about the nesting dolls? Yeah, that's what you're doing, is you're nesting as other people. I'm going to leave you with that picture, and I'm going to keep talking. So then what happens is they take out Providence in the first like third, fourth of Hitman 3, but then the rest of Hitman 3 is actually cleaning house on the ICA. And at the end of Hitman 3, like, the board has been completely wiped. Like, I think the only people really left standing that are prominent individuals are 47, Diana, and I think Olivia. Doesn't Olivia last until the end? I know Lucas doesn't. I know Lucas doesn't.
Oh, I cried.
I know. Yeah, Lucas was... So Lucas is the individual who's known as the Shadow Client, and he is probably one of the most interesting figures in the game because he goes from being a client of 47 to then being an antagonist of ICA to then being one of 47 and Diana's closest allies, arguably. And then in the very end, he actually sacrifices himself to protect 47 because it turns out that he is basically they're basically brothers. Lucas is Subject 6. He is a clone as well. And so, but in order to protect 47, he basically, he doesn't kill himself, but he basically gets himself killed in pursuit of cleaning himself. Everything. Does he? Okay.
Yeah, in the cutscene, he just like shoots himself in like the bottom of the chin, and it's really horrific. And you just sit there and you're like, "What?"
Yeah.
I'm just like sitting there like in tears. I'm like, what did I just watch? And it was like, it was awful because like you, between like the first 2 games, what these games do that is very emotional is that they get you very attached to these characters and you don't expect it because you're throwing bricks at people and wearing cute outfits and being adorable and doing cute murders. And then like you get very attached to these characters. And then all of a sudden, all these people that you're attached to are dead. And you're just like, wait, but then no, because they're sacrificing themselves, and then you're like finding out all these like very emotional things, and then like all of a sudden you're like, but I liked you and now you're dead because you sacrificed yourself for me, but what? And then like all these like big, like very large moments happen and they're emotional and you're like having feelings and you thought you were just doing like very cute, like adorable things. And you're like, I thought this was like, I thought I was doing like cute crims, but instead I'm having very big emotions. Like I need a moment.
It goes from small crims that are fatal, but small, to big emotions.
As small crims to big emotions is like, that's like the entirety of the game. I had very big feels. Small crims to big feels.
Chad's understanding of Orchid's summary here is, this is a very interesting interpretation of these circumstances.
I'm having real hard time like figuring out, okay, like I was getting clones, so it's got like a little bit of like Star Wars feel going on with multiple clones, but they're all like murder monsters, but all the murder monsters have feelings, and there's cute crims happening, and then you kill all the things, but they're also clones?
Yeah, so it takes place it actually takes place in modern world. So it actually starts in the year 1999, and it actually stays I think it's pretty consistent. I think Hitman 3 actually takes place in 2020 or 2021.
Yep.
Right? It's pretty consistent. So throughout the entire thing, they have this, it's very John Grisham type thing, or not Grisham, Clancy. It's very Tom Clancy like. And so there's a lot of like conspiracy theories, but like conspiracy programs, super secret government agencies and all this stuff. And it was actually in the middle of the series, there was this huge thing because there is an entire mission that takes place in the White House because they finally did they legalize cloning or did they ban cloning? I can't remember. It was like there was a big moment where they actually publicly said something about cloning, and then 47 gets framed for an attack on the White House, and it's a very interesting mission. But so like it's not a futuristic game, even though it's dealing with all this futuristic tech concept. It's very much a Tom Clancy-esh type game.
Yeah.
Very. The devs revolutionized the Hitman franchise, which was predominantly cute crims with big emotions. It's next-gen Hitman for Orchid now. Yes. And yes, cute and adorable are not words that many people think they would hear with murder, but in Hitman, small crims to big emotions is the name of the game.
I think it's not with Hitman so much as it's with Orchid. Small crims.
I will accept this correction. I will accept that is probably correct. So yes, it is taking place in the world that stands today, but it's much more of like a shadow government type novel or type. It's very akin to what's the other game that you like playing, Orchid?
Which one?
Splinter Cell.
I love Splinter Cell.
Oh, Splinter Cell's so good.
Splinter Cell's also, well, I would
Splinter
say
Cell
Splinter Cell
is actually
is-
Clancy. That is actually based off a Clancy novel.
Yes.
47, I don't think Hitman's
No.
affiliated with any book series other than I think they do have a couple. I know they have graphic novels. I don't think they have any. They might have a couple novels. But yeah, Splinter Cell is full Clancy. But it's a very similar type game too. You know, you have like the option to do stealth, which I was really proud of Orchid because she managed a very, very good score on a mission.
It was the only time. Okay. I haven't ever done
There was not a can of SpaghettiOs thrown.
Single mission correctly in the entire time I've played the trilogy until the very last mission in the very last game. Did I play a mission correctly?
I want her to repeat what she just said for everybody. She has not played a mission correctly.
Played a mission correctly
Well,
as
okay, what is
intended.
She
I
has
have not
finished.
played a mission as intended. As the game has intended you to play, I shall specify, because I have played all of the missions correctly as I have intended them to be played.
Which includes
Okay.
bunny outfits and cute crims.
Right. I'm gonna need a little. I've witnessed some of this, but I'm gonna need a little bit more description of what you were doing.
As I intend them to be played, I leave the largest body count possible. As the game intends
Subtlety.
you to play, you are supposed to be as subtle as possible and leave no bodies behind and get in and get out without being seen. As I play the game, I leave as large a body pile as humanly possible.
So what I'm
Mountains.
hearing
Mountains.
is don't piss Orchid off.
No.
At least not in a
I just-
digital world.
Yeah, in a digital world, you are in big trouble.
And if you do piss her off, just make sure you don't have cans of SpaghettiOs, because that's your
I-
weapon
Okay,
of
you know
tell
choice.
me,
what?
what does that mean?
The mission that Blue watched was one from Hitman 1 that takes place in Italy, and there happened to be like a kitchen that had an endless supply of like what looked like Chef Boyardee, like cans of pasta.
I literally
And
drop into
he watched
stream.
me.
And she is like chunking cans of
He watched
food at
me
people.
like he watched me yeet cans of like canned SpaghettiOs like at passersby, and it happened to be lethal cans of like spaghetti that
She was
they killed
headshotting
people.
with spaghetti.
And so I was headshotting people with cans of spaghetti. So
And it wasn't like it to clarify here, it wasn't like one or two. It was like 10 minutes of this, of just, oh, I'm out of cans, go back to the kitchen, come back out.
That reminds me of like cabbage in Skyrim,
Yes.
where you get the
Yeah.
cabbage and you chuck cabbages at people. But
Or you can stockpile it at the top of a mountain and then open your
And
doors
then-
and
Mhm.
it's an
I've
avalanche.
done that. I've done that.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So SpaghettiOs. What other unique objects have you killed people with in this game, Orchid?
A didgeridoo, katana,
That seems normal.
boomerang, wet floor sign a couple of times.
Briefcases.
Briefcases.
They
we'll
lock
get into
on.
the briefcase later. Yeah, they lock onto you. What else? Oh gosh. Guns.
Pretty much anything you can pick up in this game, you can end up killing somebody with. Like if it's
wine
interact,
bottles? Yeah.
like if it's interactable, like there is a way to weaponize it.
Brick of cocaine.
I want you to kill somebody with a wet noodle.
I probably could. I've garroted people with things.
Garroted? Oh, garroted? I don't know this term.
Like with a piano wire, you could like garrote someone with it.
Oh, gotcha.
As I do the thing with my hands.
Yeah. Very practiced motion.
Oops.
Softball player Orchid is no longer like. That's a lot more menacing in a lot of ways now. Baseball bat, softball bat.
Cricket bat.
Baseball
There
bat
is
I've used. Cricket bat I've used.
Cricket bat.
What?
Hair dryer.
You said that. You said that, and immediately I was like, "Oh, there is a cricket bat that you can find."
I have done cricket bat. I've electrocuted many people.
Yeah.
I poisoned many people.
But she also remembered not to stir it with her
them.
finger after she poisoned them.
Yes.
Wait. You can. Oh, okay. I'll take your. I'm just gonna. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's just if you can dream of a way of doing, there's a lot of creative ways to do it too. So you just have to like.
Is
creative.
the moose head in this trilogy, or is that in the original trilogy?
The moose head there is a moose head in this, but that's in the original one.
Okay, yeah. Because there's a hunting lodge mission where you have to make it like some missions you'll be told like one of the parameters is you have to make it look like an accident. So you can trap things, and there's a hunting lodge one where you can trap a giant moose head to fall on people. And a chandelier. Chandeliers are also another thing you can trap.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's many cool ways to do it. If there are specific stories that you can follow within each one, that like the replayability in these games are really neat. So you don't get the entire story. I don't know how far we want to go into it. If we want to go into that in the next part.
Yeah, we can probably do that in the next part.
Yeah,
the custom like the options and stuff like that. Because I think that's one of the cool like ways to get some really interesting details.
Yeah.
Is, hey, instead of killing this dude with poisoned sushi, kill him with a knife.
Yeah, actually, this is actually one of the organizations. This is Sigma and Cicada are two of the organizations that are actually involved. There is the Sigma 6 and Cicada, and there's actually a storyline within the Hitman trilogy, the new one, that you don't get unless you follow one of the specific storylines. So, which I didn't get this playthrough because I just, YOLO my way through the story. As I do, yeah. But there is a specific way. If you don't YOLO your way through the story, which...
Orchid's like, you can see her face like, why would you do that?
Why wouldn't you just do it the way I do? But, if you actually followed the story the proper way in the first game instead of, the way I did it, there is a way to get an alternate ending where in the last mission, when in the same one that Blue mentioned, where I yeeted a katana into someone's head and unicorned him in the hospital, there by the time you get to that mission, if you've plot twist, Orchid has been killing sororities. Oh god, no! If once you get to that mission, you've been killing these Sigma people. So if you've been doing those actual storylines, you actually get an alternate ending where you can reveal certain information, and you actually get like a different ending. It's you get different cutscenes, and you get different information that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise.
There's even an alternate ending from the base game too, depending on your choice on how to handle what's his face, the final dude. Depending on what you choose to do there. There's
so
3 different endings, I think.
Is it kind of like Mass Effect-esque, but without as many different variables?
Kind of. So this one's called like this. I think this is called the Sarajevo 6. I think is what the actual plot line is called. But it's like a deniable ops unit.
And we also get to talk about Patient Zero.
Oh, Patient Zero. I haven't done that one.
It's an interesting. That's another alternate storyline. That's very interesting.
Yeah, but you get all these. There are all these different alternate storylines that you can follow by, like, when you're actually in the game itself. You walk around and you hear people talking, and then in the corner of your screen, these little information keys pop up on the screen, and you have the option to follow them, and that's how you get your intel to follow the storylines. And that's how you can decide if you want to actually do that storyline to follow, to do that assassination if you want to or not. So I actually did one assassination and followed it all the way through to you can dress as a yoga instructor to go kill some lady, and that is a way to do it. And that is the storyline to follow. There's a way to do it, and those are options that you can follow. It's this is an option. She's supposed to do yoga today, and you look like the yoga instructor. How about you go kill him so you can get his outfit and go do whatever. So, but yeah.
I think that's the way I'd want to go. If I were to get murdered by Orchid, I would want Orchid dressed not as a bunny, but as a yoga instructor.
Oh no.
I'm not allowed to respond to that. So shout outs. Shout outs for the introductory. Green's Desire for Death by Snoo Stew is the shout out for me.
No one else knew that. I put that in private chat. No one else had seen that. Thank you, Blue. I've missed you too. You.
Orchid's embarrassment is a welcome thing to see again. I'm glad that we've managed to break people within 40 minutes of being back on air. I feel like we've accomplished a lot. She's not fired.
I missed you guys.
Chat. Oh.
Still not fired.
Yeah. Still not fired. She's tried really hard, but she's still not fired. Which I believe we had a conversation in chat earlier about that. But yeah, no, I mean the in all seriousness, shout out for you guys sticking with us. It's been an interesting year. It's been a couple of interesting years. So yes, I appreciate you guys, your patience with us while we try to figure stuff out to get things rolling again. It means a lot. It does. So thank you. Orchid, what shout outs do you have?
Shout outs to my own chat on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/HeyIt'sOrchid. I might as well get a shameless plug while we're talking about it.
While we're talking about me, let's talk about me.
Let's talk about me. For watching me play Hitman for as long as I have, since we're talking about it. Because it's been fun playing that game, all 3 games. Because I've really needed a break from Destiny. So much.
Okay. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Guess what, people? You can play other games.
Yeah. And I did not know I found such joy in this game. I really needed it. And it's really good. The story is really good, and the lore is super deep when you start getting into it, and the replayability is amazing. So, I mean, it's, yeah. If shout out to people who made it and my chat for being there and, enjoying it along with me, and just kind of letting me, do what I do, which is just, dress like a rabbit apparently and kill people with
or yoga instructors,
or yoga instructors or maids or I've dressed like a lot of things. I have a lot of outfits. So
I'm actually going to echo Orchid's shout out. It's been a while since we've used each other's handles, so it's getting back in the mouth a little bit. But Orchids, I like watching. There are very few people I go and watch on Twitch anymore, and there's pretty much only 5 that I could think of at the top of my head. Orchid is generally the first one, followed by Young Con, mainly because Blue, you gotta leave me alone. It's been a while since I've done this. He's getting on to me in chat for phrasing.
I'm not talking. I didn't say anything.
I'm watching you. I'm saying nothing.
Yeah. It's been a while. But, yeah. Orchid is one of the more entertaining ones, mainly because she doesn't do anything the way it's supposed to be done. And it's amusing to watch her go through all of this and then bang her head against the wall for a while and then figure out that you could throw a can of SpaghettiOs, apparently.
Gabe can't tell me what to do.
I like it.
When you run out of ammo, you find out that you didn't actually run out of ammo.
Yep.
You just have to
think
about things from a different angle. Well, as always, since I remembered to pull this up, so I remember to say it this time. Thank you for your time, and until next time, remember, with wisdom we conquer, stand strong, stand tall, and keep exploring.